I'm not the type to be vulnerable in public or to talk about maybe something I'm going through. But I really need to put this out there so that people that are going through the same thing can know that someone has been there and someone has passed through that kind of thing before. And it can kind of encourage people to deal with this particular ill health or issues or whatever. I struggled with fibroid. Like, I had a real struggle. If anybody had told me that I would go through this kind of thing in my life, I would say it's a lie. I will not even believe the person. Around March, ending of March this year, 2025, from seeing my normal my normal menstruation, from there, the period did not stop. Just like that. Till the next month, April, I kept bleeding every single day. The only person that I knew about it, that knew I was going through this, was my sister, my only sibling. We tried everything. She told me to take tranexamic because she's a medical doctor. She told me to take tranexamic acid, that it would help. I took tranexamic acid morning, afternoon, and night, twice a day, and nothing helped. From there, she said, okay, then let's go to the hospital. I was still saying, oh, maybe to stop, maybe to, I was even at a point, I thought it was a spiritual problem. I'm not the type that believes in spiritual things or all those things, but I just had to believe. I said that maybe someone is sending arrows or whatever to me. I didn't know it was fibroids. I bled for months. When I started feeling weak from the loss of blood, I had to go to the hospital. They checked my PCV and it was around 20 something. I think it was 24 at that point. I was already feeling weak. The normal level for women should be 35 and above. So from there, they said I was going to have blood transfusion. I've never had blood transfusion in my life since I was born. And I was like, what if the person has HIV? What if the person has something? They say they always screen the blood. But me, I don't trust all these things, this screening thing. These machines were made by human, so there can be errors, Let me just cut this whole long story short. I had the first transfusion. I took 2 pints of blood. And the man was taking it, the man was bleeding. The tranexamic acid that should even cause blood clot and reduce the flow, for where I was still bleeding. I bled. Like, this kind of bleed, I'm not talking of bleeding like blood, watery blood or something. I mean blood clots, heavy blood clots were coming out of me. If I stand up, my whole bedroom floor will be filled up with blood. I went through hell. This continued from March 2025 to this month, last week. That was when this whole issue ended. Last week. That was last week is what date? That was on about 10th to 12th of this September. Imagine someone bleeding from March to September. Within this March to September, I have received blood 3 good times. The first one was 2 pints of blood. The second was another 2 pints of blood. And this last one I had 2 weeks ago was 4 pints of blood. 4 good pints. That was in total how many? 8 pints. This is someone that normally donates blood. Me, that always have enough blood in my body. And I was now receiving blood. I've taken all kinds of things. I took Primolute. I took everything. And yet nothing could stop the blood. So my gynae, I met one of my gynae and he told me about an injection. What's it called? I will put out the name when I remember. It has to be prescribed by your gynae though. It's not something you go over the counter and buy and take. He told me about it, that it shrinks fibroid. The only thing is that you're going to have a kind of menopausal, your body will shut down like in menopausal mode. That's the way the fibroid will now shrink. Then from what I've heard and from my research, once the fibroid shrinks, by the time you're off the injection after some months, the fibroid can even grow back. It happens to some people. So it's not like even a guarantee. But I was like, okay, let me just give it a shot as long as this bleeding stops. You know. So I took the first shot of the injection, the one for a month. They have the one for 1 month and the one for 3 months. And I took the first shot. There was no difference. I was still bleeding. And then I took the second one that is supposed to last for 3 months. After the injection, like a week after, I woke up in the morning and I was bleeding badly. Like I stood up, the bleeding couldn't be controlled. I took my tranexamic acid. I had the injection, the IV that I bought. I called my nurse friend, one of my friends as a nurse. I told her to help me put the thing through my vein, through IV. And I put it morning, afternoon, and night. The heavy bleeding was still there. It was madly heavy with lots of blood clots. Blood clots are like human head. When I'm passing it out, it's like I'm giving birth. This happened and I passed out. That was how I was rushed to the hospital where I work. And after everything, they told me that, see, you have to go for a myomectomy surgery. That it's not something that you keep managing. And I've always been scared of surgeries, to be honest. I've always been scared. I said I don't want anybody that will cut me open. I don't want to have this myomectomy surgery. So my sister had to call a friend of hers that's a doctor. She specialized in hysteroscopic procedures. Hysteroscopy is where they have to go through your vagina and check out whatever that is happening inside you. And sometimes they can use that process and burn out the fibroids or polyps or whatever. They'll burn it out of the person. So I said, okay, they have to go for that procedure. That was how I went for the procedure last week. When they opened me up, the MRI was showing 3 cm, 2 cm fibroids and all that. What they saw there was way bigger. That means MRI and ultrasound doesn't even show the real size of your fibroids. Well, I thank God that I'm whole now. I'm okay. I did the procedure. The procedure is supposed to be twice, it's done twice to be able to clear out everything because it's not something that can be done just once. I am free, like totally free from fibroids, and I don't even know how I feel. I don't even know how to describe how I feel. The whole bleeding has gone, everything has stopped. I am whole. So this is to encourage any woman out there that is going through this same thing, that you are bleeding, or even if you don't have symptoms, if you're having asymptomatic fibroids, I want you to know that you're not alone. And if it's something that needs to be done, please go for it. Go and remove it so that you'll be free. If you want to give birth early, fine. It's your choice, because I heard that giving birth early helps. It helps with this thing to prevent fibroids. Just that it's a problem that we have as Africans. African women, it's just this issue we have. And I pray that God comes through for us, because this is not easy. This is the worst situation I've ever gone through, worst thing I've ever gone through in my life. And I pray it doesn't happen to any woman out there. It's a very terrible experience. If you're going through this, may God be with you. I pray you get the help you need, the medical help you need, because it's not easy. May God help us, women. We're going through hell.